All right, guys, it's been a while since I've done a video, but I figure this is kind of an interesting project that might help some of you guys out. So why am I in my basement? Because it's been like 95 degrees and I didn't want to do this outside. So what we have here is a manual transfer switch that is going to allow me to attach generator power or city power to the house as a whole system. And rather than just try to pick which things I want to plug into extension cords or whatever, I can hook 50 amps of generator power right back into my system while isolating it from the city power. So this way there's no chance for my electricity to energize the city's lines, which would be hazardous to workers, trying to do repairs and all that. So if you are going to use generator power to power your house, you have to have some sort of cutoff so you can't backfeed the city lines. And that's what this is going to allow me to do. But it's also going to allow the option of having every breaker in the house on, and we can manage our use just by turning on and off lights and only using, electricity sparingly. So we'll have the ability to walk into any room, turn the light on, but rather than overload the generator, you just have to, you leave a room, you turn the lights out. You don't try to run the microwave and the, electric heater at the same time. So it's stuff like that, which should make it very easy for, my young boys, for my wife, for all of us to enjoy the house during a power outage, but stay safe and not feel like we're out of power. So anyway, pretty interesting. I'm going to break down each of these parts in the description. Probably also in this video, I'll have some clips, but this is really a pretty inexpensive way once you get it all figured out. This is the system that I found worked best for our electrical setup, but it may not be the best for yours. So if you're not an electrician or you don't have this knowledge, this is kind of borderline, yeah, you need to get ironed out. So anyway, our system's pretty easy. It actually makes this setup real easy to do. And I was able to put this all together down here in the basement in the cool. And now we're gonna mount it outside and get this tied into our actual home electrical system. So, yep, let's see what we got. Okay, so let's see what this whole system is about. Let's go with first, this is going to be our 50 amp generator input. So basically we will have a generator running. We'll have an extension cord from the generator from its 220 outlet that will plug into this. This is a 50 amp inlet. Then we have 6 gauge aluminum or copper wire coming into the manual transfer switch. So this is the switch that is the safety precaution. So we have generator power coming in here. This line right here is going to be our city power. So in the breaker box outside, I will tie the city power to this line inside the box. So city power will come into here, generator power will come into here, and this manual transfer switch ensures that you can only be selecting one at a time. So if you're on city power, then the generator can't backfeed into the city power. If you're on generator power, then the city power does not feed into the system. So this is going to be our city power. Down here is going to be generator power, and this is going to be our load right here. And depending on which way this switch is selected is who's feeding the load. So it's either the city's feeding the load or down here it's the generator's feeding the load, but both can't happen at the same time. And that's what that's where the safety part of this whole setup is. So we've got these 2 lines. These are filled with 2 gauge copper, and this is a 100 amp manual transfer switch. There will only be 50 amps ever coming in from the generator, so it's fine on that input. It turns out our house has 100 amp service. So the input from the city is only ever going to be 100 amps. And that is where the 2-gauge copper comes in. And then the 2-gauge copper goes back and powers the load of the house. So, yeah, the things to consider is your 6-gauge wire can go in a 3/4 non-metal conduit. Had to step up to 1-inch conduit to fit these larger copper wires. You could have done aluminum, which would have been cheaper, but that would have been even larger wire, which would have meant larger conduit. And when you're getting into that big wire, just trying to get it where you want to go is even more of a hassle. So I went with the smaller copper wire, a little more expensive, but easier to handle. So this is our whole system. What we're going to do is mount this right next to our breaker box outside, and this will be mounted just below it, and these will both feed into the existing box outside. So yeah, let's go drill some holes and get this sucker mounted. All right, so it's getting dark today, but we've got a generator inlet, manual transfer switch. These two lines will make connections in the breaker box. We'll do that tomorrow when the boys are gone and we have some natural light, and that'll be all there is to this. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, after ordering a few new parts, we are finally ready to finish this setup here. So we are going to turn the power off. We're going to splice the load to our transfer switch, and then our transfer switch to the panel, and that should be all we need to do. So here we go. All right, theoretically speaking, this should be set. We're on city power right now. Pushing this all the way up will be generator power. And theoretically, if we swap this breaker back on, power in the house should turn on. And it worked. So we are back on city power.
So all I gotta do, button that up, label my transfer switch. Top is gonna be generator, bottom city power. As you can see, we're on city power. And put that panel back in. We're ready for a storm. All we have to do is plug our extension cord for our generator into the box, and we can power up the whole house. So pretty simple little job, but we're gonna really enjoy it if the power goes out. So hope that helped you out. Thanks for watching.